Hey, Coach, welcome back. I guess I just wonder what would you like most? What pleased you most about the first 10 games or 8 games of the season?
Saw a lot of different guys out there competing. It's always a beautiful thing when you get a handful of guys in the mix. A lot of our, as we discussed prior to going on that trip, we had a lot of guys out of the bullpen that got a handful of different touches, and that was exciting to see. A lot of firsts, a lot of first at bats for some of our offensive guys. A lot of first strikeouts and first appearance for some of our other guys. Obviously, I think anyone who is watching can be very excited about what we're doing, pitching and defense wise, and even offensively. We had a couple games that we put up some good runs, but I think late, it was exciting to see what happens in the seventh, eighth, and ninth inning, and how these guys continued to put pressure on our opponents, and score runs late, which is valuable. Going to be pressure watching outside, so don't mind the background ambiance.
Is there anybody in particular, or maybe a couple guys that really kind of stood out to you on that trip?
Well, Conch is hitting the ball extremely well. Joe Casey, driving in runs, playing with a lot of confidence, continuing to make some adjustments as well. Preston Jones, at one point he was on base eight for 8. But watching how, Preston navigates in the outfield, chasing down everything, he just seems very locked in on each and every pitch at the plate and on defense. Even ran the bases really well. Exciting to watch Jacob Melton battle, especially with 2 strikes. And he hit one. He pulled the Ichiro where the ball bounced off the ground and he hit a single to right field. But you can definitely see his adjustments in the box when he's in an advantage count and when he's battling with 2 strikes. And Matthew Gretler jumping in, he had a couple starts right there, and he was hitting the ball hard and made some really good plays on defense. There's a lot to be excited about. And Kyler McMahon, it's just kind of everyone can see it on the stat line, but you watch him play, and he makes it very hard for the opponents to keep him off base or moving runners or doing something to help the Bees win. And on the pitching side, all the guys did a phenomenal job. Obviously quite a few things that we need to still clean up on, but we had our days where we filled up the zone really good, and obviously stuff. I think any of our opponents or anyone watching would say, geez, these guys got some stuff coming out of the pen, and they all look very, very confident, they're competitive, and the stuff that's coming out of their hand is coming in pretty firm, and it's moving quite a bit too.
Coach, you brought up the late inning success, especially those 2 come from behind victories. I assume you're kind of talking about. What does that say about the makeup of the team, kind of the mentality of this team?
Well, it's being present, moving pitch to pitch, and even those last 2 games or prior to that, when we were, even if the game was out of hand, the guys that were coming in off the bench, the guys that were starting, everyone continues to pull for the guy next to him. And I love that, especially, in a time where we're dealing with COVID and trying to, follow the guidelines there, meaning like we're at the hotels, we're in our hotel rooms, we're not allowed to get out and go socialize in other guys' rooms. So you start to wonder about that. How is it going to affect the culture component? Because you want that togetherness. And what we saw a lot was whether it's early in the game or late in the game, everyone was still pulling for the guy next to him. And so I mean, it almost made for the time that we were out on the field even more special. And the focus was, even heightened to a different level. If this is that hour, a couple hour block that we get to be out on the field, then we are going to make the most of it and cherish every second. And I thought the guys did a phenomenal job with that. So, resilience, humility, because if you're focused on what just happened or your last at bat or something that maybe you didn't feel successful with, it's getting over yourself and being there to help the guy next to you. So I like watching it, how we prepare and how we finish games. That's important. That's important to, I guess, if I know we're in a good place or not.
Speaking of stuff, Kevin looked every bit like he was before the surgery. I mean, the second performance obviously better than the first, but 18 strikeouts over 2 games is kind of nothing to sneeze at. I mean, where's he just kind of at right now, and what did you like out of him in these first 8?
Yeah, I was giving him a hard time. I said, hey, you don't have to, load up the bases before you bring out that extra level of beast mode and then strike out the side. But I mean, everyone can see it. His changeup and his breaking ball, are just our swing and miss pitches, and that was about as good of a changeup as I've ever seen, and just the conviction behind it. Some guys click it up a notch when a runner gets on base. Some guys click it up even further when a guy gets in scoring position, and it's not something you want to live with, like putting the bases loaded, but really exciting to watch him make a huge jump from the first outing to the second outing and continue to grow. And he's still, paying very close attention to his body and how he can clean some things up and talking about the running game. So going into each day with a growth mindset is something that, we're excited to see out of him. And again, humility, it's, okay, this outing may have gone great, but it's time to prepare. It's time to move forward, get ready for the next one. But I think, on a national level, people were excited to watch him go out. And anyone who saw the live feed was, we like that guy.
In reference to that Grand Canyon start, I don't know if he just lost his breaking ball a few times there. But is it cool to see him just buckle down and fight out of those situations? Was that kind of one of the benchmarks for him?
It's not like we want to be in those situations, but reality is when they happen, it's neither good nor bad. It just is. And you look back and say, it's like, this is great opportunity, because you're going to get, we saw every different situation. We had, high scoring games. We had times where we made a lot of blunders. The very first game we went out there and we gave up far too many free bases. Offensively, blunders on defense. We kicked the ball a few times. Tempo, just the first game we experienced, I think, a little bit of everything on that trip, which was important for us to go through, because now when we go out and practice today, we have a ton of learning moments that we're going to be implementing, right? And if we know where we want to be at the end of the year, we have to play extremely clean baseball, in order to be the best of the best. As we've seen from any of the times the Beavers have gone to Omaha, the game changes dramatically based on like small fundamentals, pop-ups, bunt plays. That's how it changed with North Carolina on a couple occasions. Taking care of the 0-0-1-1 counts, eliminating free bases. So there's a handful of things that we're going to work on. We learned something down at that GCU series. It was we had an infield runner on third. Their runner did a great job. The hitter hit a ground ball to Ober at second base. Ober throws home. We're in a rundown situation. The batter runner, even though he hit a ground ball, he did a great job getting to second base. And the runner in the rundown, as soon as the ball was fielded clean, he stayed in the rundown, and then he peeled off away from second base, right, into foul territory, which caused Gretler to make the tag away from second, which bought the batter runner an extra second to slide into second safely, right? So it's just small things that can change the game. If we execute the rundown quicker, maybe that batter runner doesn't get on second. Now the guy never ended up scoring from second, but we gotta execute rundowns quicker to prevent that guy from getting back in scoring position, right? So small things that can end up being very big in the grand scheme of things. There are no little things.
Hey,
It's your team cracked the top 25. When you were playing for the Beavs, how much did you pay attention to that kind of stuff, you and your teammates, and what do you tell your team about it now?
I honestly, I don't remember playing when I was playing here, ever looking at that stuff. I couldn't tell you where we were at. Hank, were we ranked? You weren't even here then.
I wasn't there.
All right. Well, I don't know. Even then, it's nothing that I like paying too close attention to. I think it just can kind of be noise if you allow it. Rankings are just rankings, and at the end of the year, that's where you know where you really stand. Because as you've seen, I mean, there's been a lot of movement, right? Everything that I've heard, there's been a lot of movement with a handful of the teams, in the rankings. And so really it's probably just too early to tell. And but I'm sure if guys look at it, and for Beaver Nation, it's exciting to see those kind of things and know that these guys are doing really well. But our fans are excited at some point, if we get an opportunity to be in the stands, to be there, and they are going to love every second of it. But the live feed I heard was really good too when we were on the road. So, I'm sure a lot of people were tuned in and excited to watch that style of Beaver baseball being played, something that probably reminded them of many other successful years.
When you guys looked at this trip, we always had questions, I guess, for you guys about, what it would look like. It's COVID, it's different, responsibility is key. Was there a moment at all that you can think of over the last, week and a half where you looked at something and went, wow, that feels extremely different, or saw something where you're like, wow, I'm proud of our guys for being so responsible when they could have done this and instead they did something better?
Well, I mean, everything was a bit different. You look at the hotel situation and, needing to stay in your own rooms, and, food being delivered to the hotels, preventing guys from really getting out and going through stores or anything like that. So we put a plan in place, and, Jake Rodriguez in charge of ops, he was very on point when it comes to taking care of the guys, and parents would come by the hotel, drop off stuff at the front desk and leave it for the guys as well. So I mean, it can be a very difficult. I'm proud of them in the fact that there could have been a lot of distraction and stuff to complain about. However, they did not. They chose to focus on one another and getting out there and competing, which allowed for, I think, a lot of the success that we had on the road. You look at going to the field. I mean, even something small as after a strikeout, not throwing the baseball around. I saw some guys on the other teams complaining about it, like during the game, actively like complaining about it, taking their distraction away from what's going on in the game. Whereas I didn't hear or see that complaint. It just says, if this is the rule, then this is what we do. We're going to be the best at following the game the way that the rule is. It does us no good to complain about things that are changing. If the plate's 17 inches, then we compete within these 17 inches. And if it's bigger, if it's smaller, if it's taller or shorter, whatever it is, just tell us the rules and we're going to be the best at following them.
As a follow-up to that real quick, just you have a month now at home. So things get a little bit different. Guys have friends and girlfriends and things and distractions that can be at home that can, lead to COVID cases and protocols and contact tracing. How do you keep the discipline of a relatively self-contained environment that you had on the road to a month in Corvallis?
I think it's just same kind of approach that we took. It's just constant communication and revisiting what we're here to do, and how much this means to one another, and, accountability. It's for these guys to, when they're walking in the locker room or they're at home and they live with one another, to care about the guy next to you. And that means making sure that he's not drifting away from what the right thing is. And I think if anything, it'll be easier for us here in Corvallis. I mean, it's best college town in the country, and it's pretty quiet around here. It's not like there's a ton of different things to do, but you can always find trouble if you want. I think where we can be successful is just being on this mission together and keeping each other from getting distracted and going down the wrong road.
Coach, you guys have all obviously been super confident throughout camp and preseason. And even looking back to last year, you said you felt like you were turning the corner that week when things got shut down, but you still were staring at that 5-9 record last year. Was there anything about getting off to this hot start that maybe, helps this team kind of get past that and gets them in the right frame of mind? Or what do you take away, in that regard?
Really, I mean, this whole last year was just fuel. The guys knew where they were at going into that series and how they felt mentally and physically. They felt prepared. And then it was, all right, if this is the situation that we are now dealt, then let's work and get better. But, no doubt a lot of people wanted to put that, in front of us as a whole. Hey, this is what the record stated. What are you going to do about it? And that's kind of the question. What do y'all want to do about it? Do you guys want to mope about it? You want to get better? And if anything, it's been a long time of just fueling the fire is what it is. And that's, obviously the start can go a million different ways. Baseball is, funny like that. One small thing here or there, and the game can turn quickly. And I do think that a lot of what you see in college baseball is it's very emotional. It's energy driven, and things can change very quickly. And I like what our guys do. If the opponents want to fire us up, we got each other's back, and we're going to go out there and have extreme focus. And I think all the other noise, these guys are using it as motivation to get better. And even though, right now we're sitting at a good record, it doesn't mean that we're going to get too high on this thing and start beating our chests or anything like that. You gotta constantly stay humble and know that this next team coming in here is going to do everything possible to try to take the wins. And we gotta do everything winning each pitch to not allow them that opportunity.
Are you sticking with your rotation? Like, will Kevin pitch on Friday, or will you bump him up to Thursday with the odd Thursday game this week?
No, he pitched last Thursday, so we're good staying in that one. You already swapped out all those? Yeah. So Kevin will go 1, and then Hjerpe will throw 2, and Finn will throw 3.
Just after a long road trip, how does it feel to not only get games under your belt finally after the year that's been, but now you get to come home to Corvallis for a month and really not have to leave home at all?
It's great. I think we were kind of tired of, being in Arizona for that long. I think we're all excited to get back and play at home. And I think we're all just really excited to be back in our environment,
It's pretty self-contained, I'd imagine, when you're on the road in the hotel and that kind of thing. Is it different or maybe even harder to make sure everybody stays responsible, stays on the COVID protocols when you're home and there's friends and girlfriends and everything that's kind of out in the periphery of the game and the roster?
I think it's really easy, actually. I think we have a group of guys that know like what's at stake. And I think we're all willing to be responsible and to have that extra focus when it comes to, COVID stuff. So I think it's pretty easy. I think everyone does a really good job on our team doing it. And I think they know if we do the right thing off the field, I think special things can happen.
You kind of feel like you've solidified your spot at the top of the lineup, Preston?
I mean, things can change. It's baseball. So, I don't think there's any solidification of anything. So, but I know I can just go out there and continue to compete and help our team win.
How much fun is an 8-game stretch like you guys just had, where it seems like everybody's kind of hitting and things are going really well?
It's a lot of fun because it doesn't come down to one person, as we saw over the last 8 games. Anyone can get the job done. So when you're firing like that, it's a lot of fun to be a part of it.
I mean, how much of a confidence booster is that? I know you guys were really upset with the way things started last year, to come out and kind of do things the total opposite and get off to a 7-1 start. Does it give you guys that much more confidence?
I think we've always had the confidence. I think we're seeing it take place on the field, but I mean, it is a game of baseball, and I think we can't get too high on, starting off 7-1 because I don't know, it's the game of baseball, so things can change. So I think we just need to continue trusting the process and just taking it game by game.
Kevin,
what does it say about this team's, I don't know what you want to describe it, but your ability to come back late in games? You had those 2, comeback wins, especially the 2 outs in the 9th there. What does it say about the makeup of the team to be able to do that?
I think we just have a bunch of guys that just are the ultimate competitors, and we're never going to count us out, and we have trust in each other. And I think that's what it comes down to, just trusting the guy next to you and understanding that anyone can get the job done. So I think it just shows how resilient we are and how close we are as a team and as a family.
Kevin had some pretty nasty stuff in the 2 starts that he had, and looked kind of every bit like the pitcher he was before Tommy John happened. I mean, just what is it, not necessarily what does it mean to you guys, but I mean, how cool is it to just sort of see what his journey has sort of been, and the fact that it looks like he's picked it right back up from where he left off?
I mean, if you know Kevin, I think it's as expected. I think, he's an extremely hard worker, and I think we're just seeing it pay off, all the hard work and all the adversity, he's faced. I think it's just showing up on the field, and I don't think anyone's really surprised because the type of guy he is. So I'm really excited for him, and I think everyone is too. So hopefully, he can keep doing what he does and, helping us win.
Was there a moment of, I don't want to say like a moment of temptation, but like maybe one over the road trip where, there was a time where breaking protocol or something could have happened, but somebody on the team errs on the side of caution, and it just kind of reminded everyone what is still at stake here? Did that ever happen at all on this road trip at all?
No. I think we're all really responsible young men, so I think we handled our business the right way.
How would you describe what Joe Casey gave you the last couple of weeks? And did you have him leading the team in homers and RBIs on your preseason bingo card?
I wouldn't count his name out. He has some juice, and over the fall and preseason, I mean he can hit the ball out to all fields, so it's not really a surprise just being around him. So I mean, I wouldn't count his name out for sure.
Don't feel pressured if he's in the room with you there, man.
Oh no, I don't. I mean, he's also my roommate, so
How has that offseason kind of been then with him? I mean, did you see that, throughout the offseason, the way he was working, that this was gonna be what came up in the start of the year?
Oh, definitely. I feel like, he's definitely showed moments of that like last few years. So, I think this was just a testament to his work, and it just all paying off on the field.
Hey, Cooper, how important do you think it was for you guys to just get off to this kind of really hot start, especially with how well your staff threw the ball?
Right. Well, obviously a better start than last year. We already have more wins, obviously, but I think it's pretty. I know it's the good momentum starter. Momentum's everything in the game of baseball, so I think it's really good to start out with seven wins under our belt, and losing that first game kind of gave us that deja vu feeling. So I think that gave us a really rude awakening to what could happen, and really started us off good for the season. So
everybody talked about how good this offseason was, and how prepared, and how it was, the best offseason that anyone ever had coming into this season. Do you think that confidence transferred over well? And if so, why do you think it did?
I think it's just the bond that we have within our team and our family. Throughout the fall, we're making friends, obviously, with the new guys, and letting them know what it's like to be a part of a ball club like the one we have. And I think you know, once we get on that field, it's everything else externally goes away, and get on that ball field is what we really shine. So.
What do you like most about the way the starting staff has thrown the ball so far?
I just think it's the confidence that we have. Really, that's what it comes down to. Last year we were really young, and I think those 14 or 15 games that we had really made us realize how hard baseball can be and how humbling it can be. And like Cam said, you got to stay humble, stay hungry, win or lose. So I think with the way that the pen's coming out and getting shutout innings, Bryant, Joey, all of them. It really gives you the starters confidence to give the skipper that ball once your job's done and give it to the next guy and having utmost confidence and respect to what they have to do. So,
what kind of pitch counts are you guys on, right? I mean, obviously it's lower, and you'll probably be extending them at some point. But are you right around 80 or something like that? Is that where you're at right now?
my last two starts were actually in the 90 range, and throughout the fall we were slowly increasing the pitch count from 10, 15 pitches every start throughout the fall, and it was really a great program for us, and it's really put us on the on ramp for increasing those pitch counts and staying there throughout the season. So
Having the deep bullpen that you guys have, does that change your approach at all? Or do you feel less pressure to go after guys right away and kind of maybe get deeper into your stuff?
yeah, I feel like I could throw 4 innings and we would be fine for the rest of the game. 3 to 4 innings and we would be completely fine. But still going out there doing the best you can do, getting at least seven innings of quality start within your outing is really key. But yeah, no, it gives you a lot of confidence when your pen's doing what we're doing right now. So
How would you describe where this team is right now after 8 games?
we're in a really good spot, but obviously we have a number on our back now from the rankings coming out this week. But that's really nothing that's going to stop us from doing what we're working for. And it's a really good spot we're at right now, but we got a lot more work to do.
I know you guys all say you don't really pay attention to the rankings thing, but does it feel like kind of your work's been justified after these first 2 weeks that you guys are finally showed up on some rankings?
Well, we always knew what we were capable of, but we don't really look at the rankings as where we're going to be permanently. They always change, so we don't really look at the rankings whatsoever, to be honest with you. But it's pretty cool to see that we're up there now, and how we're going to increase through that poll soon. So.
Obviously, traditionally, this school is known for its pitching and defense, but through 8 games, you've had a couple of pretty big offensive performances too. And I think almost, if not every guy in the lineup's hitting over 300. Just that balance and depth that you have with the lineup, what does that do for the pitching staff to know that you can kind of get stuff from everywhere?
It gives you a kind of a feel of safety, when you got 9 hitters in your lineup that can do damage, get a job done, lay a bunt down, 3-batter land a bunt down whenever he wants. And the speed, the power that we have right now, we don't really look at ourselves as a power team, but with the home runs that we have right now, it's pretty cool to see our hitters go out there and do what they can do. So gives you a lot of confidence and a lot of safety when you're out there on the mound.
Sounds like Joe's there next to you. Do you have anything bad to say about him?
I don't want to give out our scouting report, but I know how to throw him.
How would you pitch him?
It's classified information.
Heat all day, right? High heat?
Something like that.
Hey, Joe, what do you credit your hot start to?
Say that again. Sorry.
What do you credit your hot start to?
Just working and confidence. Over the whole quarantine, I was, putting in the time, putting in the work, and I've always been doing that here, but I kind of found that extra confidence and belief in myself, which made it even more of a jump, and I can still get better at that. And so I think that was the biggest thing, because I've been putting in the work as well, but just getting that aspect of the game too is even more important.
Rooming and working out with Preston over this offseason, what are some things you guys talked about as far as goal setting and just kind of keeping each other on that path to get where you want to be?
Yeah, we talked about it a lot, wanting to go back to Omaha, win that championship, and just do what we did when we were 2-3 years ago when we were on the team. And, we hit every day, it's not always together, but we both knew we were working, hitting, lifting, and, it was just good. It's nice to have guys like him and Armstrong and Verberg, who I live with, who we've all been here 5 years. So we kind of have that same goal and same approach, and we all, put the work in, and believe that we can be a great team and do something special.
Given the fact that it was, Case leaves and then Bales comes in, COVID season kind of happens. You're a couple years removed from Omaha at this point. How valuable are the experiences of guys like you and Verb and Abel and Preston, guys that were on that team, now that you're upperclassmen, to be able to say to the freshmen, like, there is some connective tissue here between that last trip to Omaha and here's how we get back?
Yeah, definitely. It was, it was weird, 2 years there, 3 years, not weird, but, after the 2 coaching switches, then the COVID, it was kind of a awkward transition, but we kind of stuck to that same mentality, I guess you could say. Canham brought that same mentality, as well as us players keeping it around from what we knew and what we saw. And, it was, we didn't play a ton. A lot of us, Preston played a decent amount, but a lot of us, were watching and, observing how all those other guys did it and, how we grew as a team. And so we kind of took on that role to be those older guys, but then we also have those younger guys who, are at practice every day, grinding with us and, helping us out too. It takes everyone. So I think being there and experiencing all of this has definitely helped. And it's nice to get a full, year, hopefully, of playing without any of that stuff.
When you look at the pitching staff, at just the top to bottom dominance, does that almost put the onus on the offense on you guys to back them up? Like, do you feel like it's on you guys at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that yet. Obviously the staff's really good. Obviously, we have guys top to bottom, starters, relievers, closers. I think, we're all in it together, I guess. The pitchers are in the dugout backing us up. We're in the dugout backing them up. So I wouldn't know. I'd say it's pressure. Obviously, some games, when they're holding them to 1-0 runs, we know we need to get some on the board if we haven't yet. But I feel like, we're just as confident as them, and I think it's working together well is what I think it's doing. So, but it definitely helps knowing that you're going to have guys who go up there who probably aren't going to give up more than 2-3 runs a game. That obviously helps. And, if they do, hopefully we have a game where we can, go off for a couple runs too.
What was it like just watching Kevin get back into it after, the year and a half, 2 years being away from the game, and it's 18 strikeouts in 2 games, coming back with some pretty nasty stuff? I mean, it's got to be pretty cool to see, I'd imagine.
It was awesome, especially playing defense behind him and just finally getting to see him go out there, be fresh, be healthy, and get to do his thing. That's the biggest thing, obviously he's striking guys out, pitching well, but it's just as a teammate and as a friend, it's nice to see him be able to just go out there and be healthy and pitch. And, his stuff was nasty. And I could tell, a second start, he was even more comfortable. So he's just going to keep growing from there.
When you're in the field and you see a ball, like one of his breaking balls just kind of like drop the way it does, I mean, are you sitting there in the field going like, oh my God?
Yeah, no, we kind of just laugh at each other. Like Preston and I will look at each other every once in a while and just start laughing, like if one, the guy just takes a bad swing or they take it looking, we're like, we're glad we don't have to hit that anymore. Like, we kind of watch our pitchers in the outfield and we laugh like, finally, we don't have to hit these guys in scrimmages anymore. We get to face someone else. So,
is there a guy who's come through here since you've been there who had that same kind of stuff where you're like literally laughing at it?
Heimlich was obviously, he was up there. It just depends on the guy too. I'm a lefty, so sometimes, there was lefties who I thought were hard to hit or certain guys, but definitely change-up wise, Kevin's for sure up there. But his off-speed stuff's probably, the best I've seen here, or one of the best.
Did you expect to be, I mean, it's early, but be hitting with this much power? I think you have as many homers this year as you had, you're coming into the season.
Yeah. I mean, I knew I was capable. I've put on a lot of weight the last couple of years, and I've just been working on it. So I knew I was capable, but I wasn't trying to hit for power. I didn't come into the season with any expectations of that. I just wanted to, do what I did and just get in the box and get a good pitch to hit and just have that same approach. So I knew the power would come with having that great approach and that great mindset, but I wasn't, expecting anything. I was just expecting to have a good at bat or get a good pitch to hit.
How much weight have you put on?
I think freshman year I was like 165. Then I got up to like 190 for a bit, then went back down to like 185, somewhere around there. So probably 20, 25 pounds in the 5 years. So. All right. Anything else for Joe?
Yeah, kind of like a weird question, but do you have a I don't know, this sense of legacy or responsibility, just carrying that last name into this program. Is there something to walking around with that every day?
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's more of a good thing. I put it, I don't put it as pressure. Maybe I used to, but I think now I just go out there and try to be me, because I'm not him, I'm not my brother, I'm just myself. So I just try to be me. And, but I take it as like pride, that I'm going to play, compete and play well and just play as hard as I can for, because I knew that's how they did it, and they've always done it. And I think it's even more just the teams I've been around, like Bat Boying in the dugout, as much as him being the coach, just being able to see how that culture was. But I haven't, especially this year, I haven't taken it as any pressure or anything. And he just wants me to go out there and play hard and be successful. So I kind of just wear it as my own person and just go do what I know how to do.
As far as back to just the way you're swinging, have you changed your approach or adjusted anything, or is it just steady Eddie the last couple of years and it's just where we're at?
Yeah, there's a couple of physical adjustments for sure. Like things about getting in my hip and not collapsing, which I used to do a decent amount. And then that plus the approach of just keeping that same mindset that when you go up there, you're the best hitter in the box, you're the best hitter in the country, just having that mindset every at bat, no matter if you're doing good that day or doing bad. And so I've been trying to get better at that and sticking with that, same confident approach every game.